Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. In today's video we're going to be looking at some emergency lighting, more importantly the new Orbik range from Ovia. We've got a little bit of a history lesson and I've brought Rachel along with me today. A little bit nervous for the camera, but that's okay, we can definitely help you with that.
Thanks.
So we're going to be talking about the new products, we're going to do a little bit of history on Orbik itself. So Rachel used to work for Orbik before Ovia came along and took it over. So what was your role first and foremost, and where did you start, I suppose?
I started in 1997 as an apprentice in the technical lab, in the technical office. I really enjoyed the role. Finished my apprenticeship in electronic engineering, then carried on to work for the company for 28 years.
Wow, so a veteran, you would say, of the whole company then.
There wasn't a spider in the place that I didn't know where it was. And then ended up being the technical manager and the operations manager.
So been through a lot then in terms of different roles and started from there. And you know, they obviously specialised in emergency lighting.
Yes.
There's a reason that we've brought the name into our business because it is such a big name within the industry. You know, what makes it special? Because it was British made?
It was 100% UK manufactured. Orbik had its own industry experts in every field of lighting, including transformer design, legend printing, electronics. It started off predominantly being an electronics-based company where we designed all the electronics, and then grew into being a luminaire manufacturer, a legend printing, and it just grew from there. So we did from design to manufacture all in the UK factory.
Obviously the range started and it grew out when it was at Orbik. Now that we've got it here at Ovia, we've got some products out in front of us, which some of the flagship ones. Have you seen much of a change in what you used to do compared to what we do here and now going forward as well?
Definitely there's been a massive change in the industry with the introduction of self-test being quite predominant in the market. The new Orbik by Ovia range is self-test enable disable, which is it's big for the industry and it's a game changer really. So if you don't want your lighting circuit to have the self-test facility because it's got standard,
and stuff like that,
you can install it in that one. And then also new builds which have self-test or building management systems, it falls straight into there in one range.
Okay, one of the things I was going to ask you actually, obviously we're seeing the changes that are happening, especially around like DALI interfaces and people installing nodes inside of these so that they can report out. Is that the way that you think we're going to start to see our products shift into?
I think we are going to see our products shifting into integrating into building management systems and more towards DALI 2 for monitoring an emergency. DALI's offering a massive building management system out there for mains at the moment, but it's beginning to be very predominant in emergency as well with monitoring systems and dashboards. It's just easier for the installer, it's easier for the maintenance. And
I think that's what it's all about. You know, we've just seen that 5266 has been updated, there's been some changes to that standard, and we can see that everything's just sort of moving on that little bit more. As technology grows, we're also moving into sort of dynamic signage as well, so we're directing you where the actual fire, to stay away from where the fire is, not towards it. I think there's definitely some, we're seeing more advances in that sense. So we've got some of the products out in front of us. Which ones would you like to focus on? Because I know we've got quite a few new ones in the range. Is there anything that you want to sort of tell us about?
Well, this one's, it's quite, the viewing distance on this is makes it stand out from a lot of the smaller exit signs, boasting an extended viewing distance. But all of the products from Orbik by Ovia, they are all extremely good, high quality products. They've all got live PL4 batteries in, self-test enable, disable, and the range covers every job.
So when we talk about viewing distances, this is not going to be some of your standard. Where would we likely to see something like this then? Because, I've travelled around, I've seen various different things, and you sort of point and look at something, oh, that's massive. Why is that so big? Or maybe they should have probably had something a little bit bigger in it, because I can't really see that from where I am.
Yeah.
Is that always the case, or why do they not just fit these as sort of a one-time thing? Then just go, right, we'll just fit the biggest one you can get in there, and then be done with it.
It's predominantly for places where there's a high volume of people, where like airports, supermarkets, warehouses, where people are not going to be always within viewing distance of the fire exit or the fire exit doors. So making the exit sign larger, it aids them in finding their route more easily.
So it is quite a slim fitting, really. It's not a bulky fitting.
Yes.
Quite lightweight as well, so it's quite easy to install. The other thing I wanted to sort of mention as well is that obviously we see these, and you mentioned a bit about the battery in these. Yeah. Central battery systems, are they making a comeback, or have we sort of gone really past that now?
No, they are actually making a comeback. They are tending to lend themselves, for some reason, a lot in the Scottish market. A lot of councils are now taking up central battery systems or static inverter systems. So they've got, instead of having individual luminaires that they have to look after with individual batteries inside, which is a lot of maintenance, they have one central room with all the batteries located in them. So it's a lot less in maintenance.
It is, but there's also considerations that need to be had with regards to the wiring and things like that from that perspective. So it's not a case of just get rid of the batteries out of here, lump them in a room, and then just run your cables as normal. There is some considerations, and again, that will all be detailed out in 5266 then. So a little bit of more product then. We've got these ones here, so we've got these particular fittings. What one is it? What's this one called?
This one is the twin spot fitting. We do a range of lumen outputs, I believe, in the twin spot ranges, but they're also available in black and white. The cinemas and places like that, they like the black exit boxes.
Everything just seems to be going towards a black fitting now. And I mean, you can see here that some of our boxes, they've got the black and white on the front of them again. So everything that we're doing now seems to be coming with black or white. So it gives people that option to blend it in where they don't want to see something big and white. So moving on then, Rach, we've got lots of different options, as we can see. We spoke about the twin spot, we spoke about the larger signage viewing distances there. We've also got this one here, which is the IP65, which again is going to be really useful. My experience of exit boxes outdoors are generally above, you come out of a factory and then they're above an emergency exit there.
Right, yeah.
Is there anywhere else in particular that you could see where something like that's going to be used? What about places where there might be some, more humidity or...
Yeah, definitely. I mean, another place where they're predominantly used is places like care homes or assisted living, things like that, where they're used obviously as guidance, but they're fitted underneath canopies on the exterior of the building, but by windows and things like that. So, I mean, having an IP65 exit box, it's a lovely small looking fitting.
Yeah. So anywhere that we, typically we know what IP ratings mean. We're not going to go into the depths of that, but there is that option. So we've got standard IP20 or we've got IP40, and now we've got IP65 as well. So that's just giving us that full range. Of fittings there as well. So, and then you've got one last one there, which is a Synex, which is one of the newest ones. But what's the main priority of that one? Is it really just to give people options?
So the contractor or the installer just has every perceivable option that he could possibly come across in one box. There's no need for ordering separate accessories, suspension kits. It all comes in one box. So he could pretty much do one install with this one product.
So we've unboxed the Synex. We've done that off camera just because no one wants to hear that noise in particular. You'd think, well, what do I do with that? Is it just like a bit like a Meccano set? It
is. So as standard, it's ceiling and wall mounted. So that's just standard like that. Yeah. And then the accessories are if you wanted to side mount.
Okay.
So you'd mount that and mount the fitting inside the side mount and have it like a flag.
Yeah.
It's a recess mounting option,
okay.
Which is quite smart. And then it's suspension mounting.
Okay. Just giving you that versatility and that flexibility to be able to put it wherever you need to. All the parts come within the box. You don't have to do anything else. Comes with a fitting, and it also comes with a different legends as well. So if you've got it on a side mount, you can just change the legends over. So probably not suggesting that people would have loads of these unless they're doing a job. But if you get stuck in a job, have one of these on the van. Just keep you ticking over, and it will give you lots of different options as well. So lots in the range. So moving back into sort of regulations then, and we're talking about 5266, we're also talking about the LIA, which is something that you're heavily involved with, and we as an organisation are involved in. It's a two-way street. Is that a benefit for our business? Do we get to, I suppose the question is, have an input into committees, and also do we get to shape the industry?
Yes, being part of the LIA allows you to have a voice within the industry. I sit on 4 of the committees for the LIA, and we are able to have an input into how the standards are shaped and the standards moving forward. They work a lot closely with Lighting Europe now, which are the major players within the lighting industry. And when you take part in the technical forums, a lot of the time Lighting Europe are there, and they give you a big insight into what's going to be happening.
Yeah, or some of the proposals that they're putting.
Definitely the proposals that are coming forward. So with all of the,
I know that with a lot of other committees, it's more like a consensus. So everybody has to agree to what's happening and the changes, because it might not work for some people, and some people might have objections, which is no different to any other committees that we know about or we're involved in at various different levels. So can we see that this is going to be changing again, or because back when I was doing installs, it was very much a case of exit box here, exit box there, and away we go. But from the talks that I've been doing over the last few years when I've been here, talking about emergency lighting, it always seems to be that the design at the front end is the key. And I'm not suggesting that you're going to know everything about all of this, but is there a drive for people to really take into consideration the design?
Yes. I think the biggest change to the standards for luminaires, in conjunction with the electronic standards, was the change of integrating the battery to have its own standards now, rather than when you submit a product or you manufacture in accordance with it. It now pulls in separate testing for the battery, single cells and pack sizes, and also takes into consideration testing for the light source. As a whole, that whole standard for the luminaires, inclusive of the electronics, has now made a big push towards quality within the luminaires themselves.
Is this where we're sort of seeing as well, going back a few years before we were with this great company, and there was always issues with batteries, wasn't there? And people not cycling them correctly, or not discharging them, etc., or not even meeting the warranty period that's set out on the products. Is that something that's being driven then to change? So you're introducing these new standards. Is that focused around the warranty and the lifetime of these batteries as well?
It's focused very much on the lifetime and the quality of the actual individual cells, as well as when you put them together in the pack sizes. So they are very much focused and driven along battery quality, battery lifetime, battery voltage, charge and discharge rates, and temperature is a big thing now in the battery standards. So that's altogether has driven the change in the quality of the luminaires that are manufactured now.
It's interesting because they say people will say, right, I'm just going to put an exit box here, an exit box here, not necessarily pick up on the fact that there are these standards around battery, and then sort of sit there and go, well, that manufacturer doesn't, they're not doing what they're meant to be doing. As well, we're going through all of that with the expertise of yourselves, the help of the LIA. We're making sure that all of our products meet all of the relevant standards to the fullest as well, which again is important to mention. So then that's that's a good insight into how we're looking at moving forward with our particular products, and hopefully everybody else will be doing the same and driving quality in there as well, because that's important for us as manufacturers as well as people that are installing it, making sure that good quality products are being installed in the right manner and not just putting it up here, there and everywhere. So I think that's just a quick overview of a little bit about emergency lighting as well, I suppose, and some of the products that we have here to offer. So if you're interested in more in CPDs, or you want to know a bit more about emergency lighting, or you want to even just have a chat with us about some designs where we can sort of support you through that, whether that's through our design team or some technical information, we're always here to help, is the main message. You can get in contact with us through the technical helpline or through your local representation. Don't forget, like, subscribe and share, and we'll see you on the next one.